with the greater and up with the star. Oh, we'll rally round the flag, boys, we'll rally once again, mounting the battle cry of freedom. We are answering the call from the east and from the west, shouting the battle cry of freedom. And we'll hurl the rebel crew from the land we love the best, shouting the battle cry of freedom. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah! Down with the traitor and up with the star. Oh, we'll rally round the flag, boys, we'll rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. And we'll welcome to our numbers the loyal, the free and brave, shouting the battle cry of freedom. And although he may be poor, he shall never be a slave, shouting the battle cry of freedom. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah! Down with the traitor and up with the star. Oh, we'll rally round the flag, boys, we'll rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We are answering the call with a million freemen more, shouting the battle cry of freedom. And we'll fill our vacant ranks with our brothers going before, shouting the battle cry of freedom. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah! Down with the traitor and up with the star. Oh, we'll rally round the flag, boys, we'll rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah! Down with the traitor and up with the star. Oh, we'll rally round the flag, boys, we'll rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom.
It's okay.
In two ranks, right face.
Dudes move up, dudes move up. Other side, other side.
I didn't get a deep line.
Two ranks, front. Right wrist. Okay, so squeeze. And then, yeah, go ahead. You can,
Ben, it should be in the middle also.
Welcome to our annual ceremony, which hasn't been so annual lately because of the pandemic. What I wanted to first start off is to thank you, especially our guests from the 6th New York Artillery and our dedicated members and our loving families who are also here. What I wanted to do is go through a couple of things first before we have some special ceremonies and special activities. Number one is we're here to connect to our past. We're here to connect to those brave soldiers who gave their last full measure and their families who sacrificed. But we're also here to connect in another way to our childhoods. How many people were here as a youngster? And I'd like for a second us to remember who we came with, to connect to them for a second. So we can shout out who we came with. I was here with my mom, who's still here at the lovely age of 87. When I was a young boy, I came here with her, my dad, and my brothers.
The secret's out.
Secret's out, yeah.
I got your
So she's not in her 70s, and she's been telling you that. So.
Reversed. I'll take yours.
And I remember staying at the Holiday Inn, which now is the 1863 Inn, and my brother almost drowning in the pool. We had our chance. And it didn't work out. I kept holding his head under the water, but it didn't work. Who else came with who? Tom, you were here as a young guy?
I came with my first wife when I was
20. Wow. Jeff?
Yeah, we took a family vacation here when I was maybe 10 or 11 with my parents and my brother and sister.
Wow.
9 years old with my parents and my older brother.
Wow. Anybody else?
I was about 15 with my parents.
I was 5. I was here. My mother was here. It will be 80.
80, uh-oh. Another person was outed. Anybody else come here?
Yes, sir. Came here with my parents.
No, I always said
They're all watching.
I came over with my
Company, order arm.
now married.
Who's she married?
Some guy with general stars.
Anybody else can remember being here as a child at all?
Oh, we're supposed to remember when you
We're supposed to remember really. But we also come here to honor those who did come here in the sacrifice. So part of it is connected to our past. Part of this is honoring. The other part I think we forget about a lot is we're here to remember what they represented. Soldiers during the Civil War, we all read about it. Everybody here is a junior scholar in some way. We remembered all the sacrifices, how hard it was for these guys, but they kept pushing forward. For the 65th New York, 67th New York, and their friends, the 65th and the other companies, it was either a 3-year or a 4-year commitment that these guys were in. Dirt, drought, sickness, illness, hazardous times. So it just amazes me, the bravery, the courage, and the fact that they were truly one of the earlier band of brothers. You fought because of the person next to you, you fought for your community, and you fought for whoever you could to keep you facing mortal danger at all times. And sometimes in my life when I've struggled with adversity, I think of what these guys went through and how hard they worked. So I think that we do disservice just to remember the battle and not remember who these men and women were and what they gave. And that's really amazing. The other part of this, and I think it's worth bringing into play here, and I promise I won't get political, we forget what the Civil War supposedly taught us, that extremism is bad. It's bad for our country. It tore our country apart. Some 750,000 people died because of differences that couldn't be worked out. 750,000 people. And it's sad to think we haven't done it. By the way, if you haven't noticed, we're still fighting about states' rights. Still. And Reconstruction and the whole part of uniting the United States still hasn't occurred effectively. We're still dealing with its consequences. So the reality is that we haven't learned. It's our job to connect to our past, to honor the soldiers, to remember all the wonderful ideals they stood for. But we have a duty as Civil War reenactors to teach the public that we can't have this happen again. We can't have our nation divided. We can't have this bloody mess that our country came again. And as we look at the news, we can see some scary things are happening. Again, not to political, and I promise I'm not running for a public office. But we have to do better, and we have to teach the public. So I'm even more committed to doing what we do because of our need to bring our nation together and not have to be separated. So we have a special honor that we'd like to do in terms of remembering our guys and doing that. And we'd like to first have something that our lieutenant has brought along from George Munkenbach, who couldn't be here. I heard George wrote a 12-page speech that I'm going to be sitting in my car for a little while. Let me know when it's all finished. We have a brief speech that Max said he'd take care of our first lieutenant.
All right. You all turn to page.
It starts out at 407 years ago.
Did you edit it?
This is edited.
Oh.
You ready? All right, okay. Dear 67th New York, I am sick and tired of doing all the work for you. Signed, George Munkenbach. P.S. Write your own speeches next time. George sends his condolences for not being here. He'd just rather be somewhere else right now. And loves all of us and really appreciates all the work that we've done for him at the Grange in the town of Islip. And he just wishes everybody a happy and healthy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to call forth to the front of our line our first corporal, Rich, if you could please stand. Somebody take his weapon, if you could take it in front. I'd like to call into play somebody who is long deserving of this special honor. Somebody who's been selfless and has really brought the 67th to a new level, both in terms of us organizing our operations, helping us acquire equipment and goods, really running our camps to make sure we're safe, we eat well, which is always appreciated, but things run efficiently, who saved us countless amount of money and has worked tirelessly for the 67th. He's a true hero in our ranks. And I'd like, yes. Why does Max always try to get attention?
He's needy.
But it's a real honor to serve with him, and a real honor, and this is a long, long overdue award, to go to Quartermaster Tom Badamo. Please step forward, sir. Tom, your service to the 67th has been impeccable. Your dedication, hard work, sweat. I've seen you work over hot fires and not fall in, which is a remarkable thing. I've seen you single-handedly take apart our camp, save us countless money. You've been a selfless volunteer. If not for the pandemic, you would have gotten this 2 or 3 years ago. So I'd like to have a round of applause for one of our heroes who gets the highest honor we can bestow, the Army of the Potomac Medal, onto Quartermaster Tom Badamo.
Don't stick them.
I did not.
Thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you.
There's another person who's held us together during the pandemic, and it hasn't been easy having an organization via Zoom and still having us be together like we are. And I'd like for our next medal to go to somebody who's well deserving, and that's our president, Rich Culp. Could you help put the medal on, or could you step up? It hasn't been easy, Mr. President, to deal with all you've dealt with this past year. I think you really deserve special recognition.
I'm in your way. Why didn't you tell me?
I can't even feel it.
The medal's not genuine unless the blood is shed. So this might be bad. Tom, we have to count.
Stab him in the chest. Pretty much a gift at this point.
I'm sorry too.
This is a true Civil War mechanical event. We need 4 guys to put 1 medal on. Our logistics guy is back online. We had it done in 6 seconds.
Isn't that where the phrase "look for the union label" came from? What do you think they call them, unions?
Yes.
Get it? Harder.
This is not an assassination attempt that happened.
We need him here.
Okay.
There you go.
Mr. President.
That was a nipple ring.
Mr. President, on behalf of the 67, let's hear a huzzah.
Huzzah! 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 Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve as your president. I feel like this is like my goodbye speech. I hope that's not true. But I hope to continue, and I hope we continue, because this, as the captain already said, what we do is very important. The general public may not think so, but we need to continue doing it so that until they get it. That it is important for us to remember our history. Thank you, Captain. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I have another special award to somebody who is also tireless, and somebody who really makes our dull and dreary evenings in camp, that and bourbon, but somebody who helps really turn our camp into an enjoyable place to be. And last night, besides the tasty food, he helped make the evening go, and he always steps up, sweating, working hard, denying himself for us. I'd like to give a special award notification to our very own Lumpy, Max Rowland. Please step up.
Geez, first potatoes and now a medal.
Sir.
If either one of us falls down,
Let's see if he does better than the committee that was working on him. See, you're president, you can sign that thing quicker than anybody.
if I could just see what I was doing, that would be a big deal.
We need him for music today, don't hurt him.
Nail polish. Gray steel wool and nail polish.
This is more books
Okay.
today than there was July 3rd here with
Our next honoree, I have an unlimited budget, I paid for it myself. You're not going to have to pay for it in the future. I'd like to call up Corporal Ron O'Tone. He's bringing a musket with him, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like the metal. Just in case. Ron, if you're not aware, has traveled almost 5 to 6 hours to get to our events and still remain an active member of the 67th New York. The flags you see are continuously up here due to his efforts. So in terms of honoring our soldiers in the 67th, Ron has been here and made sure that our site is kept and that our soldiers are honored. Ron also helped organize this weekend, so you don't see him every meeting, but he's there in spirit, and certainly he's worked really hard to stay an active part of the 67th. And we really are thankful for Ron for all you've done. This is just a token measure of all that you've done for us. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And he cut the lawn around the monument.
With a pair of scissors, no doubt.
The kids were up over the monument.
He brought the goat.
Sweep everything off and cut the tall grass right around it.
And he also got us a 50% discount at the
He had a heart attack, I assure you. To be honest with you, I said 10%. I originally said to him.
No one asked for the 50%.
What's the worst they can say? No. And we're just going to tell them Ron told us.
Do that.
Ron said he was paid for it.
Ron's a
Parade starts at 1.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry.
When it says out, you better stop.
Poor guys. We have one more left.
Yes.
Oftentimes we recognize people who have outstanding contributions. We have a quartermaster, we have other people who've done notable things, but we also have to respect our privates who do a lot of things behind the scenes, who struggle with personal issues, pain, to make sacrifices to be at this event. And there's someone in our ranks that you may not sometimes be aware of all they contribute, but his presence and dedication to being here, and his humor, which at times I don't understand, but he's still a good guy, is our very own private parts, Bob Z. I'd like to award you.
Oh, right.
Please step up. Well, Bob, you can't fall on the rocks. You have to get over here.
Yeah. Let's step over here.
Bob Z has been in pain. Bob Z has come to events. Bob Z has done things that amaze me sometimes, that he still has that dedication and persistence. And his offer to pay for dinner tonight was just...
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Now, I'd like to give out more medals, but again, I have to go to the Senate Appropriations. But I'd like to thank every member of the 67th. And again, we're here to connect to our past. We're here to honor those who served and sacrificed. We're here to remember all the wonderful ideals that we've learned through them. And we're here to really to remember and teach others about our sacrifices. And a fitting tribute to this right now is our very own Brian Bennett, who is going to play a very touching and memorable song for us. So I ask that we uncover and we reflect on all the terrible war brought us and what we've learned for it and the sacrifices of our valiant members of the 67th New York. Let's hear it for Brian. Present arms. Thank you to our brothers in the 65th New York for your working with us and fighting with us, for living with us during the horrible war that was our Civil War. You'll always be in our hearts, minds, and we honor you as we do our brothers of the 67th. Salute our brothers. Shoulder, arms. Now we'll go back to the 67th New York. We'll later read, and then our very own Max will be playing special songs. So, to rank, right face. Second platoon, forward, march! Halt! Back that way? Okay, counter march. Counter march by files left, march! Files right, march! Files right, march! Now before Max plays, I'd like our Corporal Ron to come up, and if our spectators can get closer, Ron is just going to fill you in a little bit about the history of the 67. For those of you who don't know, especially what happened at Culp's Hill.
67th was in the 6th Corps, 3rd Division, 1st Brigade, under General Schouler. They had marched from Manchester, Maryland, the previous day on July 1st, 32 miles non-stop. 3rd Division was the first actually to reach Gettysburg, and they came over to the north side of Little Round Top. There during the first, actually the second day of the afternoon, they were placed in that position. At 3 a.m. they were asked to move towards the middle of the Union line. That was at the request of General Meade, choosing General Schouler's brigade. So he must have felt very comfortable having General Schouler as part of doing some additional work for what the rest of the 6th Corps was doing. They were then asked to move to here to support what was going on here with the 12th Corps, which brought General Schouler's brigade up here. Now you don't see any flanker markers here. That's because we're actually behind in this ridge here. So the fighting that was going on the other side that you see here with the breastworks with the 12th Corps, as they ran out of ammunition, as their muskets fouled, they had to go back and re-clean their muskets. That's when a regiment from the 6th Corps was then put in its place. So you had the 122nd over here on the opposite side. They had 44 casualties here. They had the second most in the 6th Corps. The 67th only had one casualty, but during the course of the action here, they captured 20 Confederates, and that's would be right over here in this section is where they captured them. They were then relieved, or they were told to go back to the center of the line. So if you know where the visitor center is by the Taneytown Road, that's where Schouler's brigade actually went, right by the entrance of Taneytown Road. That's where they were located on the 3rd day in the afternoon of the battle. However, they were never called to reinforce where Pickett's charge. They could have been, but they were not. So that's, in general, what happened with the 67th here. Thanks.
Thank you, Corporal. A little huzzah for Ron here. Huzzah.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that the 65th, when we were mustered out on July 4th, 1864, many of the men re-enlisted and they were put into the 65th. So that's why we honor the 65th as well here. They're our brother regiment.
If I might just say something, just on a personal note, I noticed as we came down from the 65th, these gentlemen standing next to that monument is the 82nd Pennsylvania. My relative, Thomas R. Love, I'm telling this from my mother, was a member of the 82nd Pennsylvania. So he was part of the same brigade as the 67th. So we're not sure he was actually here. Unfortunately, he was out of the ranks very often. He was an Irishman. I don't really think I need to say anything more. But, so we're not sure he was actually with the regiment here, but he was a member of the 82nd. So that's kind of a nice thing for me. Thank you.
And just one final note before I introduce the musician. We have a new recruit from Poland. My niece is here, Hannah. Yay! She arrived from Poland with my brother, who's been in Poland now for 11 years, and she's got her Civil War outfit ready to go. In about 8 to 10 years, she'll be in our ranks, I think, hopefully, right? So let's give a huzzah for Hannah. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Huzzah! 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 Do you know what huzzah means? No. Is there a translation? And now it's my honor to introduce our very own Max Rowland. Max did some research and found a very special song written about our beloved Long Island. So Please come up.
All right.
It's an ode to traffic.
Shades of evening close not o'er us, leave our lonely bark a while. Morn, alas, will not restore us yonder dim and distant isle. Though my fancy can discover sunny spots where friends may dwell, darker shadows round us hover. Isle of Beauty, fare thee well. Isle of Beauty, fare thee well. Sweet Long Island, goodbye. Isle of Beauty, fare thee well. Sweet Long Island, goodbye. 'Tis the hour when happy faces smile around the takers lie. Who will fill our vacant places? Who will sing our songs tonight? Through the mist that floats above us, faintly sounds the vesper bell. Like a voice from those who love us, breathing fondly, fare thee well. Isle of Beauty, fare thee well. Sweet Long Island, goodbye. Isle of Beauty, fare thee well. Sweet Long Island, goodbye. When the waves are round me breaking, as I pace the deck along, and my eye in vain is seeking some green leaf to rest upon, what I would not give to wander where my old companions do dwell. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Isle of Beauty, fare thee well. Isle of Beauty, fare thee well. Sweet Long Island, goodbye. Isle of Beauty, fare thee well. Sweet Long Island, goodbye.
We don't.
Actually didn't take a name.
Okay, well,
Me first?
yeah.
Hello, everybody. I am First Sergeant Robert Moyer, a.k.a. Jeff Spate. We are here in Gettysburg for the annual Remembrance Day Parade, which we do every year. We're here at the local middle school, forming up. Fortunately, this year we're towards the front of the parade, which is an advantage. Don't have to wait as long, of course. I believe the temperature now is still shy of 40 degrees. A good hard freeze last night, so we're good and invigorated and ready to go.
Very good afternoon and welcome to Gettysburg. We're here at the annual Remembrance Day Parade, which is held to commemorate the November 19th date in which President Abraham Lincoln traveled from Washington, D.C. to Gettysburg to dedicate a new national cemetery up on Cemetery Hill. And, well, of course, we all know this from the Gettysburg Address, which made its debut there on November 19th. And what we do here, Civil War reenactors, is we come on the anniversary date in order to honor everyone who fought here on the battlefield. We have various ceremonies going on all throughout the park at various monuments. We just had ours in the morning on Culp's Hill at 67th New York's monument. And right now, the main part of the show is the Grand Parade, which takes place down Baltimore Pike and heads down Steinway and leads into the National Park. And this is the first time we've done this in 2 years, and we are very looking forward to it. We're very happy that Mother Nature gave us dry skies for this one. And, well, it's very important for us to do this because it is all about remembrance. So we're about to step off shortly. So, this is your correspondent.
George Muncher bag.
George Muncher, he does that with okay. Because he supports us at the range.
When you go to the boatman's ball dance with my wife, but don't dance at all. Sky blue jacket, towel and hat, look out boys for the nine-tailed cat. Dance, you boatman, dance, dance, you boatman, dance. Oh, dance all night till the broad daylight, go home with the gals in the morning. He put him in the bag and he threw him to the boat. Dance, boat and dance, dance, boat and dance. Float into the night till the broad daylight. Go home with the gals in the morning. Oh, boat and go, on the Ohio. A boatman is a pretty man. There's none can do as the boatman can. Never seen a pretty gal in my life, but that she was a boatman's wife. Dance, you boatman, dance, dance, you boatman, dance. Go dance all night till the broad daylight. Go home with the gals in the morning. Dance, you boatman, dance, dance, you boatman, dance. Go dance all night till the broad daylight. Go home with the gals in the morning. One of them died right away. The other one.
We had 3 cats in our life.
So,
three.
this is the
One
smartest
at a
dog I've
time.
ever
They all
had.
lived
That
to be
dog
17 years old.
he knows.
And when we had to put them in some of them are like amazing. And there was somewhere. So we took them to the vet and we had them put down. I don't want to go to the shop and that poor girl.
Things were short instead of
The last one.
sing so kitty catch a guy me yo. I won't sleep but it ain't no use. Sing so kitty catch a guy me yo. My leg sticks out for the chickens to roost. Sing so kitty catch a guy me yo.
When we took them to, there's a place,
Sometimes Chinese
Hill Country Road,
sing so kitty catch a guy me
North
yo.
Ocean Avenue. There's a veterinarian home that puts, pets to sleep. I was holding the cat, and when she was injecting into the cat,
Yay!
you can actually feel the life go out of her.